Hello everyone, this is Miss Daly, and today I'm going to show you how to draw / color something. This is something that my art teacher taught me in elementary school, and I thought some of you might enjoy it. So I'm going to start out with a piece of paper. Be resourceful. If you don't have any paper at home, you can use cardboard, newspaper. I cut this from a huge piece of poster board because that's all I had. And you're gonna go ahead and draw a few dots across your paper. I'm gonna draw 3 dots. You don't wanna draw too many. And they don't all have to be at the same height. So my first dot's gonna be here, then I'm gonna go here, then I think I'm gonna go here. Okay, so you can see my 3 dots. And then what I'm gonna do is I am going to connect the dots with kind of curved lines. So for example, between these 2 dots, I'm going to draw a line like that. And it's not completely straight. And I'm going to draw a line from this one to this one. Once again, not completely straight. And not in a perfect curve either. My favorite thing about this activity is that none of this has to be perfect. And then I'm going to go just to the edge like so. So now what we're going to do is kind of draw almost like you're drawing a rainbow. Draw curved lines over the ones that you already drew. You want to keep it as close to the same shape, like the same curve as your original line as you can. See how that one kind of went down a little bit? You kind of want to avoid that. You know how there's a bigger gap here than here? You kind of want to make sure that the gap is pretty much the same all the way until you get to the dot. And you want to make sure that when you get to that edge, you go all, ooh, I gotta be careful I don't smear it. You go all the way down to that original dot. And it can be easy here to start to rush, but you don't want to rush. Just take your time. You have time. So I've gotten about halfway up the page and I just wanted to point out a couple of things. You want to make sure that where that original dot started, all of that space up here in this line is dark. This is completely colored in, almost like I could draw a line and there wouldn't be any gaps. You'll notice I smeared a couple times, so be careful if you're using a pen or marker. You don't want to smear with your hand. And then also notice, sometimes I made mistakes. I got a little wobbly, I made one too wide. It happens, and that's okay for this, this drawing. You'll also notice that some of them, they have different shapes. Like this one kind of comes in from the side and it curls in here. This one's kind of smaller than the other ones. These two kind of seem to be taking over. And that's okay. They should each be a little bit different. So for example, if I want to make this one kind of take over that one, I'm going to make this next one kind of in that one's territory, kind of in that one's space. I'm going to make that big. And then when I make this one, I'm going to go kind of in a little bit like, okay, you can take that space. And he's going to keep. So be careful with that. You don't want to loop like that. So I'm going to color that and make that dark. And then again, this one's gonna kind of So now you can see kind of the shape we've created. These two kind of stayed parallel. This one kind of petered off towards the top, and this one kind of took over this half of the page. And you can make sure that all of this is all black, all colored in between each one. Sometimes I made mistakes, but again, it's It's all good. It gets kind of difficult up to the top because you have to imagine, you know, if this were to go off the page, or you could even draw, if you're on newspaper like me, you could pretend, okay, if I went all the way up here, where would it end up? And then what we're going to do is we're just going to flip this over like so. Do a curved line this way. I made that one a little bit too straight. I kind of... And then you're gonna go ahead and do the same thing that you did before. So we are all done. As you can see, I made it all the way to the edge, and so I could turn it this way or this way. I could look at it this way. And so next I'm going to show you how you can color it. Well, I don't have any crayons, don't have any markers, don't have, besides this black one, don't have any pencils, colored pencils, anything like that. So all I have apparently is paint. So I'm gonna try to do this with paint, which I've never done before, but why not? And what's important, no matter what you're using to paint, also make sure that you ask your parents for permission if you want to paint or do anything like that. Don't make a mess. Use newspaper, paper towel, or something like I am to lessen the mess, one might say. So it's important, no matter what you're using, is that you are, the most color or the deepest color is going to go towards the edges. And then as you get into the middle of each of our orbs, things, noodles, whatever you want to call them, it's going to get lighter, and then it's going to be just kind of white in the middle. So you do most color here, and then you kind of fade, and then white in the middle, okay? So let's see how I can do that with paint. I don't know. I think I'm going to start with this light blue. And now, as you can see, we are done. This part is still drying, but I tried to make the watercolors work. It was a little bit difficult, and I would say the best thing to use for this would be maybe colored pencils or crayons. Marker, it would be kind of hard because you kind of have to create the shading in each color, like a gradient, you might say. But yeah, enjoy, have fun.